and I see that you're a member of not just one bar, but two bars. And some, I would say, most attorneys might just stick with one bar throughout their entire career. What made you decide to not only be a member of the Florida bar, but also the District of Columbia?
Sure. I've been a member of the Florida Bar since 2003. I've been a member of the District of Columbia Bar since 2004. So the DC Bar, I do some stuff in DC. Obviously, most of what I do is in Florida, but I do like court appearances and transactional stuff and a few other things in DC. The reason why I joined the DC Bar is because of reciprocity with other jurisdictions. So the Florida Bar is very insular and they don't want outsiders. So states like Florida and California don't have reciprocity with other jurisdictions. If you want to be an attorney in Florida or California or a few other jurisdictions, you have to go and take the bar exam. You can't waive in and you can't reciprocate from another jurisdiction. So DC is the exact opposite. Any district that has reciprocity with DC. So DC is like the building bridge to get into any other jurisdiction that has a waive-in option or a reciprocity option. So I did it just in case, for whatever reason, I don't know, who knows why, a meteor hits Florida or something, I don't know, and I ever had to leave Florida, I could waive into most jurisdictions wherever I would go in case I ever moved or, my wife transferred jobs or something. So I can just waive into most jurisdictions through DC. So that's why I did it. And then also because I can do work in DC too, and it adds to, more work for me to do, more money to make.
And it's something that's been, people been talking about it for a while, but it's been bubbling up on the internet. All of these different distinguishments between people and person and citizen, right? It was that a part of the DC bar stuff, or at that bar entry, you don't really get into all those distinguishments where people be essentially becoming sovereign citizens and all of those good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really deal with sovereigns. Sovereign citizens are mostly like a criminal thing or like a government regulatory thing. It's mostly people who are trying to avoid criminal charges and people who are trying to avoid like government regulations and things like that. It doesn't really happen a lot, particularly in commercial litigation. I get it sometimes and it's entertaining and hilarious, but most of the time it's kind of just geared towards those areas because it's people, trying to come up with crazy ideas that don't really exist in the real world about why regulations or laws don't apply to them.
So it sounds like you're saying once you get to like where the rubber meets the road, that's my cousin Vinny reference, by the way. Yeah. Call back. Once you get into where the rubber meets the road, it sounds like what you're saying. Your experience is it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, that sovereign citizen stuff. Look, there's a bunch of people who are way into that, and if they want to believe that, that's great. But when push comes to shove, it doesn't exist, and it doesn't apply. So when you try to show up in court and say crazy things like, the United States doesn't exist, I'm a traveler, I am not involved in interstate commerce, all these touchstones of sovereign citizens, other than wasting everyone's time, they just don't care because they don't apply.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so the real law is going to come down on you for you being an idiot.
Hey man, it's one of those things where you just hope that it's true. I still just hope that it's true that people can decide to go somewhere else. Because the way I see it is I see it online. Of course, I see the YouTubes and I already beat the game of life. That's the way I see it. I like it was a lot of. It's a lot of BS, still a lot of BS, still a lot of stuff that I got to deal with. I bought a house, but I'll never own it, paying property taxes, a whole bunch of stuff. Got to pay all of these licenses just for the right to have conversations with people, all these renewals, all of this continuing education, all of that stuff, right? But it's one of those things to where you just hope that people who don't have the wherewithal or fortitude, that there is another path other than just living off in the woods somewhere. But not so much. What is something that you would say is the difference? Have you ever done any criminal stuff, or has it all been on the civil side and the intellectual property side?
It's all civil. Never done any criminal work whatsoever. No desire to.
So, because that's one of those things to where it's a lot on the line. Intellectual property. Go ahead.
No, criminal's another thing where you either do that and that's your job, or you don't do that. You don't dabble in criminal law, because that's dealing with like people's freedoms and rights. It's not dealing with like just money or, contract issues. So that's something where, you want someone who focuses on criminal law. So.
How should a business owner protect their intellectual property?
Sure, you got to be serious about it to begin with, and you got to be very proactive and protective of your intellectual property. Just because it's non-tangible property doesn't mean it's not as valuable as your actual tangible property. So you want to make sure that as you develop things or make things, you protect them, so you get them copyrighted or trademarked, or if you have an invention or something, a process or something like that, you make sure you get it patented. You make sure when you deal with other third parties and you actually have real secrets and real information that you won't want disclosed, you have non-disclosure agreements. You can't just use a non-disclosure agreement for, nonsense. It has to be an actual, real proprietary information. And then you want to make sure that you enforce your rights so people don't infringe on you. You want to make sure that you protect your intellectual property and don't leave it out for other people to take advantage of. And that's essentially how you protect your intellectual property.